You're watching VinylicPumaGaming. So Borderlands 2 has its fair share of extremely useful relics that the player can acquire. For the most part, relics are used as a means of improving your character's stats in several specific areas, whether that's gun damage, reload speed, fire rate, action skill cooldown, and even some other areas you might not expect, like improved experience gain. Overall, Borderlands 2 has a wide variety of relics that the player can acquire, and today I plan on going over what I think are some of the best. Now, before we get into this video, there are a lot of relics in Borderlands 2. However, there is a fair amount of crossover for certain relics. So, for example, because something like the Heart of the Ancients emulates the effects of both an Aggression relic as well as the Tenacity relic, I will only be including one of those three relics. Though I will mention some notable exceptions as to why you may want one and not necessarily the other. Also, keep in mind that the stats and properties of some of these relics can greatly vary for some of these particular entries. But without further ado, these will be the top 8 best relics in Borderlands 2 starting now. Number 8. Allegiance Relics. So Allegiance Relics provide boosts to weapons from specific manufacturers by picking one manufacturer and having the possibility to spawn with 2 of 3 different buffs. So one time you might get a relic that boosts the damage and reduces recoil on flat-off weapons, while another time it may improve accuracy recovery instead of damage. For this reason, Allegiance Relics spawn with a fair amount of variety, and sometimes you get really good ones, while other times you can get mediocre ones. You also have to consider the kinds of weapons that you're going to be using too. While you may get some awesome buffs from your Allegiance Relic, you may not have the weapons to take advantage of those specific relics. There are also some relics that boost properties unique to Dahl and Hyperion. Since Dahl weapons have burst fire, there is a relic that can reduce burst delay, and in the case of Hyperion relics, you can improve your maximum accuracy, which allows you to get to maximum accuracy faster. You're going to find that the best Allegiance relic will depend on your build and weapons that you intend to use. In general, the Bandit and Maliwan relics are always usually pretty good. Allegiance relics that improve magazine size for Dahl, Jacobs, Tediore, and Torg weapons are also pretty good, and damage boosts are nice on Vladoff Allegiance relics. The only really lousy thing about Allegiance relics is that they often don't boost the attributes that you might want. Not all Allegiance relics boost damage for every manufacturer, and this is something that can be achieved with something like an Allegiance relic or an Elemental relic. Allegiance relics will drop, so farming them is tricky. You're just going to have to get lucky with these. Number 7. Moxies Endowment. While this relic is relatively useless later on in Borderlands 2, once you've reached maximum level, Moxies Endowment is a fantastic relic for players that are trying to level up their characters earlier on. You may also find that Moxies Endowment is the perfect option if you intend on power leveling your characters as well, especially if you have a friend that's nice enough to take you to the beatdown bar to power level you. And as far as functions go, Moxies Endowment increases the amount of experience you gain for killing enemies. It does not affect other methods of gaining experience. You'll find that this in particular is one of the flaws of Moxies Endowment. The inability to gain increased experience through turning in side quests is a bummer. Plus, when you get into later difficulties, the experience gain really starts to slow down, and it takes longer to get from, say, level 50 to level 51 than it takes to get from level 23 to 30. But if you do plan on going to the bar brawl to power level your characters, Moxies Endowment relic will make that process go a little bit faster. Something else you may want to consider is that Moxies Endowment only increases the rate at which you gain experience, and that's at the cost of not receiving bonuses from another relic that you may need for completing specific quests or just fighting groups of mob-type enemies. Ultimately, if you do want a Moxies Endowment, it's best to get one earlier on as opposed to later, and Moxies Endowment is a quest reward that is received for completing the good, the bad, and the Mordecai. Number 6. The Blood of the Ancients. The Blood of the Ancients is a really nice relic for specific weapon types like sniper rifles and rocket launchers. This is because Borderlands 2 doesn't normally allow you to carry a whole lot of sniper or launcher ammo. And if you're curious, the Blood of the Ancients combines the Stockpile Relic, which boosts ammo capacity, along with the Vitality Relic, which boosts maximum health. As far as I know, the only thing that the Blood of the Ancients doesn't do is boost the number of grenades you can carry, so you will still need a Stockpile Relic for that. Blood of the Ancients class mods are typically used in Sniper Zero builds involving Critical Ascension. Instead of having just 120 rounds of ammunition or so, you can increase your capacity to around 200. While you sacrifice some damage doing this, you're going to be able to stack up Critical Ascension more easily because you just have more ammo, and there's less risk. As for other characters, you may find that you'll like using the Blood of the Ancients if you're using weapons that tend to go through ammo pretty quickly, like the Lead Storm. So again, while you're sacrificing some damage here, you're going to be able to fire shots longer, and you'll have some better endurance as far as ammo is concerned. The only character I wouldn't recommend using the Blood of the Ancients on is Salvador, and that's mostly just because he can regenerate ammo, so why do you necessarily need more ammo capacity? But otherwise, for pretty much every other character, the Blood of the Ancients is definitely recommended. And if you want one, go kill some legendary loot midgets in Ultimate Vault Hunter mode. Number 5, the Deputy's Badge. Now, the Deputy's Badge is a fairly decent relic, provided that you intend on using shotguns. You may also like the Deputy's Badge if you're playing co-op with others. As for the specific bonuses provided, the Deputy's Badge provides an additive bonus to shotgun damage and also provides a bonus to shotgun reload speed. And for every Deputy's Badge equipped, players receive 10% more time in Fight for Your Life. The exception to this rule is if somebody has the Sheriff's Badge equipped, and their time gets boosted by 15% for every Deputy's Badge equipped. Now, this relic is typically used for better reload speed on shotguns, as it tends to make the vast majority of them reload much faster. The boost to shotgun damage is nice, but to be honest, I think you'll find that you can get superior boosts to shotgun damage from other relics. And failing that, if you're using an elemental shotgun, you're going to want elemental bonuses if you're concerned about the damage of each individual shot. Now, the Deputy's Badge is received upon completing the side quest called Showdown, and if you're lucky, you can also receive the Sheriff's Badge, which is another awesome relic that, of course, has compatibility with the Deputy's Badge. Number 4, the Shadow of the Seraphs. So the Shadow of the Seraphs relic is essentially Zero's Two Fang effect in relic form. For the uninitiated, Two Fang is a skill that allows you to have a certain percentage chance of firing 2 shots per trigger pull. What this class mod essentially does is allows all of the other characters in the game to have that very same ability. You'll find that the Two Fang effect works best on weapons that have a lower fire rate, so for example, a gun like the Flacker or most rocket launchers would work quite well with the Shadow of the Seraphs relic. And Jacob's weapons also work particularly well with Two Fang as well. On the opposite extreme, automatic weapons with really high fire rate don't really benefit from this particular relic quite as much. And in general, you're going to want to try and avoid having too many fire rate bonuses on your weapons, as you will lose the 2-shot effect if you do. The best part about this relic, though, is that the percentage chance is added onto whatever your current level for Two Fang is, and it's possible to get the Two Fang effect to trigger 100% of the time, provided you have this relic and you've combined it with an unparalleled professional class mod, or a rogue class mod that boosts the Two Fang skill by 6. This effect is quite nice with some weapons. And what's also nice about this relic is that you can acquire it from the Seraph vendor in Flamerock Refuge. If you're playing a Zero, it might be worth the time to come back here when you have the appropriate number of Seraph crystals. Number 3, the Heart of the Ancients. So the Heart of the Ancients is going to be your second or third best offensive-based relic in Borderlands 2. It combines the Aggression relic, which is associated with boosting the damage of a specific weapon class, and the Tenacity relic, which is associated with increasing time in Fight for Your Life, and the amount of health that you may get upon achieving a second wind. The Heart of the Ancients is going to be the definitive relic if you plan on maximizing the damage of your non-elemental weapons. Unfortunately, you will need to have a Heart of the Ancients that corresponds to the specific weapon, and even at that end, you won't be getting a multiplicative damage bonus like you would if you're using an elemental relic. Even still, the Heart of the Ancients is great for Jacob's weapons, and you may find that you like it on weapons like the Becca or the Jacob's Gatling gun. Now, the Heart of the Ancients still works with elemental weapons though. Just keep in mind that if you have an elemental or Bone of the Ancients relic, the damage buff you receive will be greater than it is with the Heart of the Ancients. That said, the increased fight for your lifetime may be something that you want, and like all Etech rarity relics, you can receive these by killing legendary loot midgets. Number 2, the Seraph's Badge. So the Seraph's Badge is the definitive relic for pistol users. What it essentially does is increases both the fire rate and base damage of your pistols for better DPS. It also increases your fight for your lifetime if you get stuck in a pinch. The Sheriff's Badge is really great on all characters. On Zero, the Sheriff's Badge is essential if you intend on building your character around one shot, one kill and the Infinity Pistol. You may also like using the Sheriff's Badge as an alternative to the Explosive Elemental Relic if you plan on doing a lot of grog heralding on Salvador. And on Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, it's possible to fire rate cap the Infinity on Axton, provided you have a Heavy Gunner class mod and the Sheriff's Badge relic equipped. And really at the end of the day, the Sheriff's Badge is a great option if you plan on using pistols. If you want a Sheriff's Badge, you can receive one as a drop from the Sheriff of Lynchwood, aka Nisha, in Lynchwood during or after the mission called Showdown. Number 1, the Bone of the Ancients. In my personal opinion, the Bone of the Ancients, or Bone Relic, is the best relic in the entire game. It combines the effects of both the Elemental Relic and the Proficiency Relics together, which are two of the best non-unique base game relics in Borderlands 2. In case you don't know, the Proficiency Relic provides the boost to cooldown rate, while the Elemental Relic provides the boost to elemental damage. Generally, when it comes to maximizing your damage output, boosts to elemental damage are multiplicative bonuses, while boosts to generic gun damage or other things like assault rifle damage are simply additive. This property, along with the enhanced cooldown rate, makes the Bone of the Ancients one of, if not the best offensive relic in the game. And I would say that a Firebone of the Ancients is absolutely essential for Krieg players that make use of his Hellborn skill tree. And you may also find that a Shock Bone of the Ancients is really good on Gauge, especially once you pair it with skills like Wires Don't Talk and Blood-Soaked Shields. Ideally, once you hit maximum level, it's a good idea to try and acquire a Fire, Shock, and Corrosive Bone of the Ancients for each character. That way, you can maximize the damage potential of all of your elemental weapons. The only element that isn't covered is explosive, so if you do want a multiplicative damage bonus for explosive weapons, you will need to still acquire an explosive elemental relic from the base game. The explosive elemental relic is a world drop, while the Bone of the Ancients will drop from legendary loot midgets in Ultimate Vault Hunter mode. Alright guys, that's going to wrap up this particular video. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, and as always, take care, and I'll see y'all next time.